what the heck? I want to watch Reloads, dude. I want to watch a movie I already know how to watch.
What is art? Do you know what art is? As a people, we kind of don't know how to define art. We don't really know what it is, yet at the same time, we're perfectly understanding of what it is. Millions of people can come into a room, look at a painting, and come out of it with a different interpretation. Whether through brilliant craftsmanship, its understanding of the human condition, or just sheer profound beauty that we can relate to on a subconscious or even a spiritual level. There's a genuinely beautiful thing about taking a paper and pencil, or in my case, talking about some bullshit, and being able to not only express it with others, but being able to connect with them as well. However, there's also a dark side to art. Art can be scary and bad. Okay, not everything is Teletubbies or SpongeBob. Sometimes we talk about things that make me uncomfortable. War, racism, terrorism, you know, despite how commonplace these things may be, it's not for everyone to consume on an artistic level. Some people don't want to be disturbed or uncomfortable, and in that sense, art isn't for everyone. Introducing general audiences. You might be thinking to yourself, well, what are general audiences? Well, it could be anyone. No, literally. That's the point. It could be your grandma. It could be my grandma. It could be someone's abuela for all I care. It is the common denominator of people that can find mutual interest over one specific thing. The issue is that thing people find mutual interest in usually sucks. A lot. So much. Oh my god. Why do people have the worst taste? Except for me, of course.
Victor Wembanyama.
Ma? What the fuck? What the fuck?
In a perfect world, success should be reflected in its quality. You know, the better something is, the more money it should make. The issue is that this thing called reality made the Iron Giant a box office failure. Even though there is a lot of people who seek out actual good things, the truth is there's a much larger majority who's a lot more indifferent to what they consume. And the more and more you see stuff that's popular, the more you start asking yourself, what are the qualities these people see in like anything they watch? And the answer is they don't have qualities.
Here's my little closet here, which is... there are no words to describe.
When you listen to music, you don't want to hear someone sing about how depressed they are. Ooh, you're sad. I don't want to listen to your sadness. I want to hear like how much someone loves Chrissy Teigen. Suffice to say, we live in a time now where content has become more disposable than ever. As a YouTuber myself, I know that sentiment a little too well, actually. Do I remember the last thing I watched on Instagram Reels? Absolutely not, but you know what? It kept me satiated for the 30 seconds I was watching it on a shitter. If you pull up your YouTube recommendations right now, very rarely will you see something that actually excites you. In fact, you're probably seeing more stuff telling you how excited you should be over this video in your recommended. And there's a simple reason for that, because this is the craziest video I made yet, and if you stay around to watch the video, you're gonna tear your shirt off and wipe your ass with it. You'll be so excited. In the desperate pursuit to get attention online, a lot of creators ignore the self-worth of people who watch their videos and try to kind of hijack the worst parts of their ego for a slight edge in the algorithm. If the video is happy, good, that means you should be happy. Is the video sad? Good, that means you should be sad now. Is the video angry?
When you start to ignore a woman, you can take a bad woman and then she'll start to.
Now, I'm not making anything that's going to be in the Louvre, but when you do make art, you kind of make it with the intent that you want to elicit emotion out of someone. And you elicit that emotion through your own creativity. But the much easier thing for someone to do is to provide emotions for you. I could be really angry right now, and maybe that would rile you up some. Why let someone determine their own feelings when you can tell them how angry or scared they should be about something? I understand, not everyone's going to be an artist. Not everyone is going to be obsessive about the art that they look at. However, the issue rises when you talk about anything creative with people that are like this. I don't know, it's just like you talk to some people and it's like, do you actually like want to talk about anything? You know what else provides emotions for you? Commercials. I'm pretty sure more than anything else I'm going to talk about in this video, I think the most general audience thing you could talk about is commercials. I mean, it's kind of the perfect sample size because everyone watches commercials. They take an emotion and they shove it down your throat saying, you should feel this right now. Buy. The easiest way to make someone hungry, show a person eating food. Easiest way to make someone buy a phone, shove it right in their fat fucking face as they're drooling over a Big Mac. There's a reason companies focus so much on psychology for their marketing, because so many of these advertisements rely on the consumer making impulse decisions on a day-to-day basis. The material in these advertisements are so desirable by people that watching these almost function as a vicarious practice in experiencing vast vast amounts of wealth, sex, or talent. And you know what else is extremely vicarious? Seeing a bunch of money being given to people that should have been me. But with so many of these channels, like for example, our dearest friend, Matthew Beam, it feels less like I'm watching a video by this guy, and it feels like I'm watching an advertisement telling me how great his channel is. You don't have to tell me how great your channel is, Matthew. You just have to make good videos. And if you subscribe to me in the next 5 seconds, you'll be entered in a raffle to win a Nomad bidet. Trust me, that's definitely a real thing. When it comes to short form content, it functions pretty much the same way, except the conveyor belt just goes into put it into overdrive. It's to the point that it's just impossible to think for yourself when you're watching reels or shorts or TikToks. Combine this with the automation of content farms and AI, and you're on the fast track to becoming clinically brain dead. Frontal lobe? I hardly know her. But despite this, short form content has been consumed more than anything else in the world right now. If you look up anything about short form content consumption, you're not going to find research. Rather, it's a bunch of websites talking about how brands should cater their marketing towards this format. And it's for a good reason. This is where the audience generally lies. But let's talk about something a little less short form and a little bit more movies. If you're seeing a new movie coming out and it's made by one of these guys, chances are you're most likely going to watch something that feels indifferent to you and at worst insults you. This isn't me saying every movie with a 9-digit budget is a waste and has no artistic value, but what I am saying is that when you're trying to appeal to everyone on an extreme time crunch, it becomes really difficult to make it good. Now, I'm about to give kind of a normie take here, but when I go and I watch a movie, I'm usually investing in leisure over trying to push myself to think critically about what's in front of me. It's a big reason I don't watch horror movies in theaters, because I'm a little baby who doesn't want to be scared, and when I go and watch a horror movie in theaters, I am really pushing myself to do that. But like, I watched Nosferatu in theaters, very good movie of course, but oh my gosh, like every 10 minutes when Orlok appeared on screen, I would be jumped by the loudest fucking noise in the world. I understand that technically doing something like this was meant to make the movie more immersive, but all it did was just immerse my palms over my ears because I wanted to keep my hearing. All I'm saying is this didn't happen when I watched Zootopia. People find comfort in horror movies. I'm not one of them, but people do. But what happens when every single movie you watch doesn't provoke you in any way? Then chances are you're probably watching a movie for general audiences, which is a G rating, but they don't make those anymore because the audience wasn't general enough, okay? We gotta make it a PG-13 rating. In our lifetime, we have seen the decline of moderately budgeted movies. You know, movies that are designed to only be comedies or only dramas or action in favor of these blockbuster hybrids that try to be all of these movies into one. And because of that, you start running into familiar issues. When you watch a sad scene in some of these movies, it's only sad because the movie's telling you to be sad, or a scene is only funny because they're telling you this is the funny scene, okay? Cue the laugh track, and suddenly it feels like I'm on my YouTube feed all over again. Like, yes, there's still dramas out there and there's still comedies out there, but what I'm also saying is that one of the advertisements for the new Naked Gun movie was just Liam Neeson begging you to watch it because they can't make comedies anymore. Please just watch this movie. I know Superman's in theaters. Like, just make it a double feature. Just watch us.
Every passing year, more and more comedies go unmade.
Now, more than anyone, Disney has effectively taken the reign of making movies designed for everyone. I mean, technically they've always had that image, but as of recently, you really start to see the cracks forming under that type of pressure. And this is nowhere more apparent than in their remakes. If you walk into a Disney remake with the intent that you're going to watch a version of the movie that's better than the original, I want you to walk back to the ticket booth and ask for a refund. Because most of the time, not only are these movies not as good as the original, but they will make it an objectively worse experience. My personal experience with Disney remakes was when I went to go watch Aladdin with a friend. This is the only Disney remake I have seen in theaters, and although it didn't assault my eardrums, it did something much worse, which was being a stupid fucking soulless piece of shit movie that made me leave the theater asking myself why this even existed when I can go back and watch the original Aladdin and be enchanted by the sheer amount of effort and care the same company 30 years ago put into making a movie look and feel this good to watch no matter where you are. When you see Jafar turn into a genie, you feel the cosmic power, him bursting through the roof, becoming larger than life, like having planets circle around him. Then you watch the remake of the same scene. But it's also like, Do people actually have a choice in the movies they watch? The answer is yes, of course they do, but think about it a little bit more. If you're like a family of 5 and you have to spend a lot of money for that family to go watch a movie, you kind of want to choose the safest bet despite the quality. And the safest bet is to choose a movie or a franchise that's already proven itself to be worth watching. But by going to watch a movie based on something existing already, you're no longer allowing movies to conform to your taste, but rather your taste conforming to the movie. The qualities you look for when watching these movies shift from how good it is to how little they managed to screw it up this time. Okay, maybe I'm being a little too harsh on this Aladdin movie, because if you go to something like Rotten Tomatoes and look at the score, wow, that's a 94%. That's actually a really good score. That means 94% of people walked out of the Aladdin remake and gave it a thumbs up. But if you actually look at their face, they're probably making a face like, it was alright. But if you look past this number and actually go to the reviews, it's a bunch of people saying this movie is really, really good as long as you don't watch or compare this to the original Aladdin in any way. Which I don't think I need to tell you is a very flawed way to review a movie, because there's this thing called, what is it? Remembering things? How many people actually remember this remake? No one does. Everyone remembers the original. That's the issue. And you know, it's not just movies that are the issue either. Think of the AAA games coming out right now and just how like awful all of them are. Okay, I'm not saying all AAA games are like that, but what I am saying is that Call of Duty for the last 15 years has been notorious for just being so lazy. Even if this series has a proven formula for success, that usually just means you can go back to these older games and get way more fun out of them. And the difference is that you also get a good campaign too. It seems like the longer this franchise keeps going, the more you see this game constantly bombarded with mixed or straight up negative reviews. And then you look at the best-selling games of the year and oh, what do you know, it's #1. It's good, very good game, good story, food multiplier. I don't know why players consider it bad. 10. Absolute garbage. Just a matter of time till all the development companies go out of business. Absolutely trash maps, trash skins, trash guns, trash damage system. Everything about this game is an absolute disappointment. 10. I love story too much and also graphic, but I heard they put a gay characters to play with in online. Please, Activision, COD is not soft game. This game is for men's. 7. You look at this and you say, okay, well, they're the #1 game of the year. Let me go see what they're doing to make this game sell so well despite the criticism. And then you go and you see Nicki Minaj, Beavis and Butthead, and Seth Rogen doing kill animations, which I don't think I need to tell you is a far cry from the original vision this game had. Gone are the days when every game was trying to catch up with Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty is trying to catch up with live service formats, or should I say live service Fortnites. I'll be honest, if you look at the Fortnite store, I think this is the best way with keeping up with what general audiences know and want. And when you see these other games trying to keep up with this specifically, they just become these amalgamations of mush. I like some of the Nicki Minaj songs. What the fuck does she know about guns? How do we take multiple properties and put them together while maintaining a stylistic identity? And the answer is you don't, and you just put Snoop Dogg in your game and you watch the money just keep printing. Like, it never stops. I'm not saying things are only popular now because they attach popular names to them, but what I'm saying is that it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes certain branding will just be so big in the cultural zeitgeist that it overshadows the actual thing behind that branding. Like Taylor Swift, she's popular right now, but forget about her music. She's just one of the biggest names right now. But if you go to the Billboard 100 charts, she's not charting right now, mainly because she hasn't made any new music, like new music, but you know, she's still Taylor Swift. But the whole point of the Billboard Hot 100 is just having a list of songs saying, okay, these are the most listened to songs in the world right now. So you go see what the biggest song in the world is right now, and by that I mean America, and it is a song about a guy singing about how much he loves his wife, not to be confused with John Legend's wife. I went to the music video and went to the comments because, okay, I wanted to see what people had to say about this. And holy shit, people are using it for their wedding, people are becoming sober because of this. Hulk Hogan was fucking buried to this song? What? Despite all that, by the time I'm recording this right now, I completely forgot what this song sounds like. And another thing, I wrote this script maybe a month ago when the song was #1, and when I went back to this script to record it, the song is still #1 in the world. When this video comes out, will it still be #1? It would age better if it did. And I'll be honest, even though this is a ballad about a guy singing about how much he loves his wife, I just don't feel the love. Like, this is just someone telling me that they love something a lot, but I don't feel that love. I don't feel the passion, the burn, the anything. It feels less like I'm hearing a love song and more like I'm hearing a commercial jingle about this guy's wife. And you know what? For the people that listen to this song, that's enough to satisfy them. But music's so weird because I feel like this is the hardest thing to actually get the audience, the critics, and myself to all agree on something being good. But it isn't to say that doesn't happen. There are a few songs out there that are able to balance that super fine line of being enjoyable by everyone and having a genuine impact on anyone who experiences it. Think Nevermind by Nirvana. Everyone knows this album, and if you don't know this album, that's just on you. In the 90s, this album was a paradigm shift for the music industry. Okay, look at how rock music looked in the 80s. Look at Kurt Cobain. Okay, you see the change? If you look at the critics' side, you will see this album constantly placed on the tippy top of just music ever made. Like, this is considered on the Mount Rushmore of music. But on the other hand, I just know a lot of friends of mine who listen to Nirvana. It did the rare accomplishment of speaking to multiple generations. Not only has this album stood the test of time, it only seems like it's gotten bigger since. In 2016, 25 years after the album was released, Nirvana charted on the Billboard 200 chart again, which is not like the Billboard 100 chart. That's just for songs. 200 charts for album. Okay, 200 chart, album, 100 chart, song. But you look at 2016, okay, Nevermind charted. But then 2017, it charted even higher. And the year after, higher and higher and higher. And then in 2022, it peaked at number 57 on the Billboard 200 charts, which means 31 years after the album was released, only 56 albums were selling better than this old-ass album. To put it simply, Nevermind is one of the best-selling albums ever in the United States. Compare this to what the general audience album was at the time, Ropin' the Wind by Garth Brooks. This was just released 22 days apart from Nevermind. Now, if you're under the age of 30, the odds of you knowing who this guy is significantly decreases. And it's not really your fault. His album isn't on streaming. In fact, none of his albums are on streaming. There's no way to listen to this guy on the internet unless you want to listen to re-uploads of his music. As a matter of fact, his most recent album was sold as an exclusive in, get this, Bass Pro Shops. I didn't even know Bass Pro Shops sold music. I thought they sold like fishing poles. Okay, now why do I say this guy is the general audience artist of the 90s? Because he sold more albums than anyone else in America except the Beatles. By the way, this is according to the Recording Industry Association of America. This is a verifiable source that this guy is the second biggest artist ever in the United States. According to this statistic alone, Garth Brooks is bigger than Michael Jackson and Eminem combined, and I have never heard a single fucking song from him because all of his songs are locked in the Bass Pro Shop pyramid. But I think this is a good example of the fallacy that being only for general audiences can show. If you want to make art that stands the test of time, it's not just about how big you were back then, but it's about making something that can speak to multiple generations and be carried on through how it makes you feel. Okay, like my impression of Garth Brooks is, I know who he is, but I have not seen his music outside of a Walmart CD section. And I think it speaks to everything I've mentioned in this video. Even if something is huge right now, the passage of time tells us what will prevail in art. A connection that can still be seen in games we talk about, movies we watch, music we listen to, because that's what's going to win in the long run. One of these albums comes back while the other fades away in a Walmart CD section. Now, Nevermind might have not sold as much as Garth Brooks, and trust me, it still sold like hotcakes, but by sticking with people and being shared around, it comes back year after year. And eventually, it overtakes what we know to be popular, because if you look at the numbers, you'll see that... What the fuck?